Good afternoon. Thank you for coming out today. We appreciate our members of the media that are coming out and supporting our press conference today. We hope to get some information out of this that will be beneficial into our homicide case involving our victim, Mr. Belton, Gregory Belton. First, let me give you a little bit of details. I'm sure some of you remember, but we had a homicide that occurred May 3rd, 2:15 p.m. of this year. Our deputies responded to 1 Diamond Street in Anderson County, and upon arrival, deputies located 57-year-old Greg Belton in his home, and he had been shot multiple times. Detectives and forensic personnel responded, and they have since started their investigation, and since have still been investigating. Today we're asking for the public's help with any information that would help us seek justice for Mr. Belton and Mr. Belton's family, who's also with us here today. We feel like someone out there knows something. We feel like that there's details out there that someone out there knows what happened to Mr. Belton. These type of things don't usually happen without somebody else knowing. Somebody's talking, somebody's telling somebody, and we feel like that somebody is out there with some pertinent information that would help us connect the dots in this case. I will say that we've had several leads. Our investigators have worked those leads to the best of their ability, and some have been productive, but again, this is one of those where we're going to need some help from the public. And so in a second here, I'm going to have Mr. Martin, who is victim Greg Belton's nephew, come up. He's going to say a few words, and then I'm also going to have Steve Combs with Crime Stoppers come up, because anybody that has information that's relevant to this case, you're welcome to contact us directly. Matter of fact, we would certainly appreciate it. But if you do not feel comfortable reaching out to law enforcement, that's what Crime Stoppers is for. And so we'll have our representative here from our Anderson area Crime Stoppers will come up and explain how that works and how Crime Stoppers locally works as representatives to those that may have information. So the details that you need to know today: the family has raised $1,000 to help with this information, for someone to come forward and give us relevant information that would help us in this case. And Crime Stoppers is matching that $1,000 with another $1,000, so a $2,000 total. And so we ask anybody, if you have information on this, I hope that it weighs on your heart. I hope that your conscience eats at you until you decide that you need to do the right thing, and you need to contact somebody, whether it's us directly or perhaps Crime Stoppers. So for that, I'm going to ask Mr. Martin if he still feels up to it, if he could come up, if he wanted to speak on behalf of his uncle's case.
Thank you. Gregory Belton was my uncle. It was a very tragic day on May the 3rd when this poor soul was taken from him. I'm not going to go into the details, but I just want to say this. To the person that may be held liable for this particular crime, I would like for y'all to allow us to start the grieving process. I would like for y'all to start allowing us to get some type of closure. Greg left behind a mother, a sister, 2 children, grandkids, nephews, and nieces, and we all loved him. I think Anderson County, the police department, as well as the sheriff department, for everything y'all have done this for in providing the right fundamentals to help us get through this process. I thank Sheriff McBride. I thank Detective Finley, as well as the rest of the staff. All we really care about more so than anything, seriously, is just the justice. That's the main concern for this family. Helping us out. You know, whomever done it, or if you may know someone that done it, just try to get in touch with Crime Stoppers and help us out. Just help us along this journey. That's all we ask. Thank you.
Again, I'm going to turn it over to our local Crime Stoppers representative, Steve Combs. And again, you know, not just Mr. Martin, Greg's nephew that spoke, but his mother's here, his sister's here, other family members, and you know, this is of course weighing very heavily on them. So they need justice. So please, if you have information, come forward, let us know, let Crime Stoppers know, and help us connect the dots on this. So I'm going to turn it over and let him close it out. Steve Combs with Anderson Area Crime Stoppers.
Thanks, Sheriff. I want to hold up a brochure that the family is currently handing out. This has a $2,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the individuals responsible for the death of Mr. Belton. We know, as Crime Stoppers, we've been working since 1987 in the Anderson area to provide a liaison, a link between our public and the individuals that are victims of crime. And what we ask is that you who know what has happened would come forward. If you have any information about this incident, we ask that you pick up the phone right now and that you call 1-888-CRIME-SC. The system is completely anonymous. Individuals that call Crime Stoppers will be given a number and given an opportunity to share the information that they have. That information is then forwarded to our law enforcement partners who follow up on those tips. The way that happens again is by calling 1-888-CRIME-SC or 1-888-274-6372. The family that's here today, they need the closure. And you are the individuals that have the information that can bring closure to this case. And so we insist, we plead with you to come forward and bring these individuals to justice so that this family can finally begin to grieve and to go through the process of starting a life without their loved one. His mom is here, his aunt is here, his nephew is here. These are individuals who loved him, and you took his life. You took his life from them, and you're not allowing him the opportunity to share it with them any longer. And so we just ask, please come forward, 888-CRIME-SC or 888-274-6372. And I appreciate that the opportunity to represent the family. Crime Stoppers will continue to get the message out. Again, you'll see these flyers throughout the community. You can go out to the Anderson Area Crime Stoppers Facebook page. But this is the information. This is the man whose life you took. And we just ask that you would come forward. And I pray that you don't sleep until you come forward and bring this information and get closure to this case. Thank you.
Does anyone from the media have any questions for the family or for the sheriff?
I had a question for Sheriff McBride.
Yes, sir.
In earlier releases on this case, there had been a vehicle or vehicles that were mentioned that were seen in the neighborhood. Are those leads dead ends at this point, or are those something that you guys feel like you could build on?
I think, I know our investigators have followed those leads. I was talking to the detective supervisor this morning. There were some witnesses that saw several events happen after the shooting, but I don't know that that has not been able to firm up any real details. So other than, it's something. But we feel like things like this usually don't happen. These types of incidents, homicides, stuff like that. People talk, whether they brag about it or whether they get in a state of mind where they're loose, have loose lips and they discuss these things. So we feel like somebody out there has heard, maybe third hand even, information that would be vital to possibly put some of those to parallel some of those witnesses There was a male running from what they believed came from the house, was running down the street, but without a great description. There were vehicles that were seen in the area, unsure whether or not they were for sure involved. So, but we need somebody to help connect some of these dots for us.
Sheriff McBride.
Yes, sir.
What's the likelihood that the suspect knew the victim?
Now, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear.
Yeah, what's the likelihood that the suspect knew the victim?
Oh, usually it's a great percentage that the suspects know the victim. So it's very rare that it's just completely random. That's typically why you hear the terms isolated incident and stuff like that, because there's a target for a reason. Usually it's because somebody did know the victim and perhaps knew there was something that he wanted or something that he couldn't get from the victim. And so, it could be a disagreement or anything like that. So there's a multitude of reasons, but typically it is someone you know.
Would you say that this is an isolated incident, or is that what you guys are trying to figure out?
Yeah, we feel like we feel like that there was obviously some kind of motive, and we feel like it could be anywhere between an acquaintance to somebody who knew very well potentially. So. And that's typically, the case in most homicides. So, but we definitely, feel like that there was a motive, there was a reason. It was not anything just of random, somebody just randomly going into someone's house and killing somebody. There was definitely a reason behind it, and but usually those reasons aren't just kept with one person. Usually there's other people that are aware of the situation. Somebody has talked, like I said, somebody has, had too much to drink one night and they start telling everybody what they did or what they were involved in. And so, these things aren't kept quiet. So we ask for those, if you're a person that has heard that information, this would be the right time for you to come forward and help us, and help this family.
So there was no forced entry in Mr. Belton's home?
No, sir. So, definitely someone with the intent to commit a crime there going in there. It doesn't change those elements of the crime for sure. So,
And also, anyone who wants to interview the family can do so after the conference if you would like.
Absolutely. So, to the media, our media partners, thank y'all for being here today. We appreciate that. That means a lot to us and the family, and appreciate y'all's coverage of this. And so, hopefully, this will be beneficial for the family and for our ability to pursue justice in this case. Thank you.